nasty looking.
Giving away all the best stuff.
I know, they really are, man. But so this movie puts me in a weird position, man, because everything I say is gonna sound like I'm being condescending, and because I'm using words that no one wants to hear when when somebody says, "Give me your opinion," and I really don't mean it like the way it sounds, because looking at this movie, I'm gonna use words like, "It's fine," "It's cute." I liked it. Or, I'm going to hit puberty again, and I'm going to be like, hey, it's good. I laughed. But, man, listen. But I really do mean those things in a positive way. I mean, when I say this is fine, it is the best fine that it can be. But it never goes beyond average, really. But it's the best average that it can be. I don't mean that to sound in a way that I'm talking down against this movie. I can't say I laughed out loud like ha ha, but I got chuckles all the way throughout. I wasn't ha ha, but I was like, it was a good thing. But I would tell you, there are things that stood out to me, beyond this being average. The movie itself is kind of average, but there are things that really did stand out to me with this movie. If you were listening to the to the trailer, and I say listen, not looking at, listening. Then you recognize some voices probably in this. And I think that the voice cast is great.
It is. Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah, I think, now if you're listening closely and this actor, you probably heard Kumail Nanjiani in here. And thing is, I love him in this movie because he really does sound like a duck.
He definitely sells it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he hasn't been a duck sooner in something.
Yeah. No, his voice works for this. It's not too Kumail Nanjiani, but also with the character where he starts out where he's afraid of getting out. You think he's going to be just an abject scaredy cat the whole time, and he's not. So he's not annoying.
No, that's very true. You have other people in here. Who are some of the other actors that we have here? You have Elizabeth Banks.
Banks, yeah.
As Pam, the wife.
Yeah. And Danny DeVito as the uncle.
Yeah, Uncle Dan. Wow, I got real creative with that one, didn't they? And the kids, I don't know their names. I don't know if they're big actors.
I don't think they are.
But the kids were great. And I'm gonna pass this off to these guys over here. But one of the things I think that makes the voice work with the main characters work so well is because they all have a great family dynamic. They all have great family chemistry with each other, and it's not in it's this of course is a extremely silly comedy right here, but there's some parts in here where they do come together as a family, and it feels very emotional without being too mushy or being too manipulative.
Come on, we gotta get ready.
Mac, ready for what?
Venture into the totally unknown.
What the hell am I doing? Awkwafina, man, ever since she stopped being a black girl, she's turned into an old Jewish man all of a sudden. But she's pretty good here. You heard in the trailer, she plays this mob type pigeon.
Don't worry, Chump's gotcha.
So listen, Chump.
What? Did you just call me?
The New York sequence, I'll talk about it in a little bit, is probably one of the best parts of the movie. And, for me, rounding out some of the voices right here, I don't know how people are going to feel about this because you got Keegan-Michael Key in the movie who plays a Jamaican parrot in here, who I liked, and it took me a while to realize, oh, shit, that's Keegan-Michael Key. But he might be a little too extra high energy for some people out there. I didn't mind him.
Did it! I can't believe it! I was in a cage, and now I am not. In, and now...
Jamaicans and other people like, don't do that.
Wait, we're going to go bumper clock.
Yeah. At least that guy was real. He's looking like he's talking about that bumper clock.
You wild duck, you!
Yeah, it's a little, now listen, there's a little extra.
Like you said, the character's high energy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no more Jamaican than Sebastian the Crab.
No, that's true. The accent is not the best right there, but once you see the character and what he's doing, it's not so bad. It's not like he's a part of the whole movie. It's probably one of the weakest characters in there for me. But I don't know. Let me pass it off before I get into anything else here. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think the characters are strong. It starts out like so many other average things, as you talked about. But quickly I recognize, like, all right, they're doing something with the family dynamic that actually works, rather than everybody has a completely different personality and the morose teenage duck and and the little precocious one, they all felt like, okay, we've interacted before, and we are an actual family. And then when they get on the road on this road trip, they don't stumble into all of the cliche things. Because so often with road trip movies, I can go like, all right, here's the part where this happens, and then this, and then this. And they had things where I was like, oh, you taking me by surprise on these.
Yeah.
And the jokes genuinely were funny. I was, probably the thing that surprised me the most was like, this is an Illumination movie? Because they just tend to, with their movies, what I hate about them is that they just rely on warmed over Looney Tunes gags, physical gags, as we saw in the Minions short that starts before this one. Or the Groove short, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was, and I mostly chuckled all through it, but I did get a few laugh out loud laughs.
I do agree that the family dynamic does work, and at first it was interesting seeing them go on this adventure, but for me, a lot of the jokes felt very telegraphed. I was like, all right, you're setting this up, all right, then this, yep, and then they fall down and go boom, yep, there it is. And the thing that held the movie together for me is I think that the animation is just beautiful. Like, there is so much detail. Like, even though they're exaggerated with some of their proportions, the one thing that really stood out to me, and I'm curious if you guys notice this, is just the eyes. Stuff that they did with the eyes of these characters, especially those pigeons. When they introduce those pigeons and like they're looking like kind of cockeyed at them, that made me laugh.
No, I like the pigeons. I do think Illumination is, they have a tendency to put minions in everything that they do, because all of them are like, they're all just different kinds of versions of minions right there. One of the things that you guys keep mentioning, and I probably should show this, is that, yeah, there is a very strong family dynamic here, because the movie comes across very jokey, but I do like that they slow down, because you're right, Illumination is just so too fast paced sometimes. They they slow down and let these characters be characters sometimes.
I knew there was some adventure left in you.
It's things like that where the movie slowed down for moments like that with the characters. They weren't always hyper. But I will say, and I agree with you on this, man. I think one of the things that really stood out to me in the movie was the animation. Because I'm going to tell you, as much as the animation's fine, I like it a lot, but I think a lot of it still looks like a typical studio animated family film. But Illumination stands out in one particular area, and that is with character design. Now, these are great designs right here. They're fine. These are some of the characters that I think they look like any other kind of funny animal characters in a family animated movie. But when the Illumination starts drawing people, they get crazy.
Freaks.
Yeah, the deformed ass people, man.
Popeye looking characters.
Yeah, especially like the main villain here, man. That chef, and I like that chef a lot. Before he came into the movie, I thought, like you were saying, this was just going to be a regular road trip movie, man. Where they were just going to be filling the time with just random weirdness. And there's moments like that where like, all right, I don't know where this is going. Like at the beginning where they had the herons, the birds, and it felt like that they were trying too hard to be weird with those characters.
Good. Maybe I'll eat you.
I'm gonna put my daughter down right now. Crazy ass. It's a something to do movie. It's not bad at all. It's actually cool. It's fun. But if you don't see this in a theater, it's no big deal. I would give this a low matinee.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm as you say, it's not groundbreaking. It's not giving Pixar any competition. Although lately Pixar isn't giving Pixar any competition, right?
Oh man, that's very true.
But it is one of those movies where, like I said, I know I'm biased because seeing the Illumination name, I was expecting to not like this, and the marketing hasn't been strong for it. So I was like, well, I don't really believe in it. So often there's movies that come out like this, an animated movie, and it is a kids movie. That is, you can take your kids to see it, but you should probably have something else to do, or you're just going to turn your brain off. And this is that which was becoming more rare, that family film where you could take your kids to see it, and if you would go begrudgingly because you got to watch them, and then you'd find yourself enjoying it. And yeah, to me, it was a low matinee.
Damn. I thought you were liking this more than me.
I did too. That's why I was surprised when you said low matinee.
For me, I was kind of disappointed when it was all said and done, because tell me if this sounds familiar. It's a story about someone who really wants to leave. And then they leave, and there's a threat of turning them into food, you know, and you got to bring the family back together. For me, it felt like a retread of what I just saw in the new Chicken Run movie. And they're also birds.
It's funny you say that because I watched Chicken Run before this, or at least half of it, and going back and finishing Chicken Run. Watching Chicken Run, I was like, see, y'all fucked up. Go watch Migration. That's what you should have been doing.
Yeah, I think that this one for me, just a regular old rental. I think it's totally harmless. I didn't think it was particularly funny. I think I may have gotten more laughs out of Chicken Run 2, but that's just personal.